Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're going to bring you another segment of our Dresden case study. Today we're bringing you two different types of pieced Dresden blades to make your Dresden plates or Dresden flowers or whatever. But first, I want to talk to you about another mom and pop business, and it's called the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. And Laura Lynn and her husband do have a wonderful following, and she comes up with all sorts of lovely ideas. So I'm going to put her YouTube link in the show notes below, and you can also pick up our pattern in the show notes below, and our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, and I'm not sure when we're filming this whether or not we will be taking a poll for our next virtual sew date in October, but we offer free virtual sew dates with myself and other people from around the world from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you're interested in having a virtual sew date or just being part of a really fun Facebook group, come on in. The Facebook group is also in the show notes below. So come on, let's get the sewing done. Okay, for this pieced Dresden, you can see I pulled from my jelly roll strips, and these jelly roll strips here are purchased. So they have a little ripple edge on them, right, on both sides. And there's something about these that you guys probably, hopefully, have already realized. But sewing them sometimes can be a bit difficult because with a rippled edge like this, a pinked edge, you have to actually measure, is it the top of the triangle, is it the very top of the peak, or is it the bottom? And this one is kind of in the middle. So you have 2.5 inches here, but you know, it's not exactly perfect. Like it's kind of, yeah, it's like a thread or two off the top. So you have to kind of, when you're doing these, you got to measure them, especially if you're taking from different fabric lines. You have to kind of, you know, they're nice to get because, you know, like we've got some 30s reproduction print here, and the 30s reproduction looks like it's on the top, right? The very top of the peak because it's pinked edges. So that's one thing. Now I decided I was going to throw these in to the works, and all I did to make enough fabric for a pieced Dresden was run it through like this, right on my, you know, my inch and a quarter, make a scant inch and a quarter. That way you've got enough room. You just run it through all the way to the end, and you cut as many pieces of your pieced Dresden as you want. However, let me show you this. So this is an 8-inch piece, right? And the 8 inches will fit, well, it's a little bit, there it is. 8 inches will fit perfectly. Now I use washi tape to mark what side of that line I'm on, right? So my washi tape comes in pretty handy here. So what I would do is take my rotary, cut it, and cut it this way, and cut it this way, and now, you know, these two greens sit perfectly, and the seam goes down the exact middle, right? So that makes it a whole lot easier when you mark your washi tape. Now, when you're cutting them this way, this is 4.5 inches. So what I did is I made sure I measured this very carefully, the fabrics, and decided, okay, this is where I'm at. So now I'm at a 4.5. Now when I'm cutting this way, and then back again, like that, these pieces will nest together, right? Like, because, you know, it's all been pushed to the dark, right? The seam has been pushed to the dark. So when you're cutting this one, it all nests. And I'll show you the back of one of those. One other thing I wanted to mention. Now if this strip was longer, you could do this. And you could probably have fun with this too. Is if you use your washi tape to mark a line, let's say that was from here to here, you know, and then you would have a different top and it would all look very complex piecing. And you could just mark your washi tape along what side the line has to go on. And then as you're sewing your double-ended points together, this would look very complex piecing, but it would give like a very, I don't know, sophisticated look right? Just by putting it a little off kilter, right? So I'm going to let you play with that one. I didn't do this one for that demonstration because I'm looking more at, you know, getting the beginners up trying stuff. But if you're an experienced sewer, by all means, give this a little twist. And then you can sew, you know, you cut them like this, right, back and forth, and you get more Dresdens out of your long strip. So let's look at, I guess I do need a cut piece. Let's do a cut piece on this. Hang on. I need a rotary cutter, and I don't have one close. Oh, yes, I do. Hang on. And I'll show you what I mean by nesting. So I'm going to cut this just like this. And this is waste, because this is too small for anything. And then I will rotate my mat without all the stuff on top of it. And I will cut the other direction. Can you see that? Nope, you need to put it in frame. So I'm going to line this up very carefully, make sure I've got a nice clean cut, just like that. And then I flip it over and I go the other direction. I'll probably get 3 out of here. That's okay. I will use the 3. And there you go. And this will go into my scraps, right? So, there. But that's how quick this is. Now, when you're taking these, let's just put them all back. When you're taking these, when you're going to sew them, right, you see how this works all together, right? Well, when you sew them, they actually nest. They nest perfectly, right? So that gives you a big advantage. Oh wait, I need a different foot on. Hang on. That gives you a big advantage when you're trying to piece something, right? Because when something nests, you know where your starting point is and your ending point. And I'm just going to sew them together. Hang on. Because not only do these nest, they tessellate. They tessellate nest. And tessellate nesting is where one way it goes one way and the other way it goes the other way. Okay. There we go. And we'll just get this underneath. There. And now I'm going to put the next piece in here just to offset them. And it goes just like that. Again, they nest perfectly together. They nest perfect. Boy, that couldn't be any nicer if you had tried it. And you just hold it down. When you're cutting the blades the long way where the seam runs down the middle, you have to be very careful when you're sewing those together because you want that to nest perfectly in the top of the V. Now, what I'm going to show you here is this, right? So when you go to spin your seam, just you pop them open like that, and one seam will go one way and the other seam will go the other way. And this is how you get a nice, and then of course with this one, half the seams are going this way. So now the seams tessellate, right? Tessellate, such a fun word. Tessellate. They tessellate, so they go in opposite directions, but these things lie absolutely flat. So let's get to the rest of this. Now, when you're doing where you're sewing down the middle, right? You know, it's pretty much the same as we've done before. So this, but I wanted you to see this, because this makes this really flat on top when you're sewing, and all I've done is finger press it. So that's where we're at. We'll get to the what blocks. I'll show you what blocks I've done, and I'll show you the back of the blocks too. Okay? So with these two, I know you can't hardly see this one because it's in a bad spot. Yeah, okay, because it's clear. With these two, we were able to make two very different looking Dresden. Now I'm going to show you the one where it's just one long piece. And this is where you have the washi tape running down the middle of your Dresden. You can also set this up so it's wonky or whatever, and you cut them all the same. It also works. But this is what this looks like. Now I stuck to a more pale palette of greens, right, to make this work. And I'm just gonna, can I get my cameraman to hold this up at the back as to what I did? Because I double pointed them. So the middle is just basically stuffed under and stitched in place. But you can see they're all lying open. They're lying relatively flat. Where it's been pieced up the middle of the Dresden, I mean the points are all matching. The points are all matching pretty much to the middle of the Dresden. So that's how you do one. And it looks like there's 40 Dresdens in here. It's like there's 20. Really? That's it. There's 20 and they've all been pieced. So I stuck with a paler palette because I have a rather unusual idea for an after quilt. So anyway, so that's one. And this is the one where we showed you how to sew them and they all nest and tessellate. You know, when you open the back, they all tessellate. Well, this is what we did. Now I haven't decided exactly what size my blocks are going to be, but this is what they look like when they're sewn just like that all the way around. And here's the other one, because I made two because I thought these were kind of fun. These were kind of fun to do. And like I say, I stayed with paler colors because I have an idea for an after quilt. And I also, because I cut too many every time, not without fail, every time, I have two little extra pieces that I can use for an art block, which is coming up, or I can do other things with these. But I've also already put the backing on them. Here, I'll get my cameraman to hold this up again too, where I put the interfacing on so they're easy to turn and very quick. This is how I did all three of them, is I just did it with a turning interface. Well, this one you didn't have to, you just applicate on, but these ones were turned with interface. So they went down and they stitched down very quickly, just like we've shown you in other videos on this Dresden. They stitch down quickly, you do your centers, you cook it under the iron, you stitch it in place, it's all good. So this is what we have. So what do you think of these? We're looking forward to getting some more fun ones out there for you, just to show you all the different kinds of Dresdens you can make with the basic little templates that we've given you. Okay, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day ahead. And I hope everything goes your way and all your sewing projects are just yay and you don't have to pull out your stitch ripper, because today I pulled out mine quite a few times. Okay, you have fun. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for watching today. We're so happy about the way our channel has grown, and we just want to wish you so well in your journey along with us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. Now, the next thing is this quilt. We are wondering if you guys would like this quilt as a free sew along on this channel this fall, this coming fall, winter. We were kind of thinking that this one would be really fun to do. We could do it in a larger size or a smaller size, it's up to you, but this one was a lot of fun to make. And it's all, it lends itself to being hand stitched, but you can also do this on a sewing machine as well. So let us know in the comments below. Remember, share, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Okay, have a great week ahead. Bye!